What's up, everybody? I'm Craig the Writer Stewart.
And I'm your boy Keon Stafford.
Welcome to our exclusive video diary only on Patreon.
Where we give you exclusive shit.
Behind the scenes shit.
Where we just talk shit.
And every first of the month,
your debit card gets hit.
Thank you for subscribing. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and I'm inviting you to join my Patreon. Don't know what a Patreon is? It's my official video diary with only exclusive content that you won't see anyplace else. It's easy to join. Just visit patreon.com/Craig the Writer Stewart. Here's what you'll find on my Patreon. A day in my life, whether that's dinner with friends or a typical workday. Live Q&As with members of my Patreon about each episode of the T.S. Madison Experience and what I was really thinking. I'll even bring you on vacation with me. The video will make you think that you were right there. And last but not least, for all of my aspiring writers, I give you first-hand, one-on-one, personalized attention, answering all of your questions about publishing and self-publishing. So what are you waiting for? Join now. Swipe up or visit www.patreon.com/Craig the Writer Stewart. I'll see you soon. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Craig the Writer. Do it now. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts, in my voice, on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Now, So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow. So go ahead and hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And turn on that little bell so that you get a notification every single time that I go live or I upload something new. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What you had to share?
Girl, I had to shit, bitch. I was driving fast to get home, girl. Driving home, almost blew a head gasket to Lucy, bitch.
Not almost blew a head gasket. I went to the gym today. It was funky as hell in there, I can tell you that. It ain't often that I'm walking around smelling people stinking. But over here, I was like, oh my God. And I was really feeling like most of them are probably immune to the smell. They don't even realize that is going on. Their nose has acclimated. So there was a big ass grocery store like right there, and I've been saying I need to go to the grocery store, so I went in there. Couldn't find some of the shit I needed. I'm asking for help.
When you went online to sign up, it was in French?
It was in French, but they gave you the option to change it to English. They make a lot of accommodations here for English in the way that we do for Spanish. So they make a lot of accommodations. So it's just like how we be arrogant and be like, well, why the fuck it gotta be in Spanish? A bitch appreciate that it's in English now that I'm over here. And one of the things that I've learned on this trip is it's taught me compassion, a different kind of a compassion. Now I'm more sensitive about it when somebody is trying to talk to me, you know what I mean?
It's like when people in Spanish or shit like that and they don't understand, yeah, I get you.
But I really do. I've always kind of done that, but I think I'm a lot more aware of it. Because like usually when I can tell they don't speak English, whatever country they're coming from, I usually try to take my time and speak slower, and I try to point and, do stuff like that. But I'm even more sensitive now because it's like I'm almost intimidated to ask, to like talk or to be heard. And now looking at them back home, it's like, it's so courageous that you move to another country. Like, I'm here visiting, but you move to another country and everything is in a different language. And I don't give a damn how broken it is. The fact that they had the courage to start speaking in that broken language, trying to communicate because they're trying to make the effort to get better. That's remarkable. It's really remarkable.
That do make sense. Like,
What I'm realizing is, you know a few words to communicate and get your point across. But now I'm looking at them, like the Spanish people back home or Hispanics back home, and feeling like they probably know enough to get their point across, but they get intimidated when they start talking. Because what I'm experiencing right now is I know enough to say what the fuck I need to say to you, but then when you start trying to explain it back, I'm trying to translate it as you're saying it. Then I'm trying to figure out how the fuck to respond back to you in French. So I'm trying to translate what you're saying and then retranslate So, and the same thing happens with them. And they trying to communicate to you, they probably get shut down because their nerves get the best of them. The other adjustment is I'm used to having more space. And I don't even mean just because I've been in this house now. Bitch, I have more space than 227. I ain't got no counter space. A bitch trying to cut an onion. Bitch, your cutting board this big because the counter is only this big. Yes, that cutting board that I have in my house, that big wooden one, bitch, it wouldn't even fit in here. I don't want to be loud in ghetto, American ghetto. I started talking to this guy the other day, and he was born here, but his family is Portuguese, so he speaks Portuguese, French, and he knows a little bit of English. Well, why are you here? What you here for work?
Right.
And I was just like, no, I'm here to try to learn the language. Oh, really? Oh, that's they were like, oh, that's fab. You know, the gays be like, word, word. And the wrist goes under.
I can't wait to see the habits you done picked up when you come back.
I started writing yesterday because something in my spirit said, part of the reason you're here is to really put your perspective on this trip. And just how this trip is going to allow me to put life into a different perspective from this vantage point, right? And that was where I came up with this whole thing of racism really is the reason why our black asses and American asses don't know no other language, because white people, I think I may have said this to you, or I was just saying this to somebody, but because white people have decided, because they're so entitled, they don't give a fuck about nobody else's culture. That's why they're trying to keep all the Mexicans out and brown people and whatever. But if they were more open-minded, they would have had Spanish as a part of the curriculum. They would have had French, German, like other languages that would be a part of the curriculum, because otherwise we wouldn't be at a deficit. These kids over here, these motherfuckers been speaking French or English and multiple languages from the time they started school. But because white people are so busy trying to cripple us, they didn't handicap themselves too. Just think if over in our country we knew how to speak Spanish and all these other languages too. That shit is fabulous. When I'm sitting in a room, and these kids younger than you, going from English to Portuguese to French or Spanish or German, like these motherfuckers are, I'm like, y'all don't realize how special that is. These are ball kids. You know, I ain't never been to no ball. They read. Bitch, they sharpening my knives. I've been and came back and be slicing everybody. I cannot wait to say this to Madison. They were going back and forth. They were debating about something. And I can't wait to use this on Madison, because Madison will hold on to something forever. Like, for example, when I told you, she said to me, like the first few times I spoke to her after we had said we were going to do the show, she kept, even when I would go live, I would go over to her house and be sitting at the desk with her going live. She would say, yeah, child, you over there doing shows with other people. You ain't never asked me. Like, she would say it every time I saw her. And so one of the kids was doing something similar to that the other day. And so he came back and brought it back up again. And so the other guy said, girl, are you still in that car? Girl, park that car and get out. Keon, when I say I screamed, Miss Thang, you still in that car? Get out that car, girl. Park that car before it crashed. Keon, I was so fucking tickled. I cannot wait to use that. They were saying so many clever things. I was like, these motherfuckers are on their toes. These motherfuckers be reading in French too. They'll jump back into English when they use things like Miss Thang or bitch or girl, or a lot of them have learned English, or they've refined their English, because they were learning it from the time they started school, but it became more refined when they started watching Love and Hip Hop. A lot of these motherfuckers watch reality TV and they watch it in English. And so they be knowing they be like, the gag is like, and then they'll go back into French. Like, so
I can just imagine how the fuck it
Right, so they pop in and out, right? Even if it's not always language that I'm learning culture. I'm learning their culture and, you know, how they move and how they do things.
Relationships, how people like give like somebody may be a she used it as like, you know, somebody may be a pint or whatever, right? But you expecting a gallon.
Girl, she got that from TD Jakes, honey. That's been all over social media.
Really?
You're looking from love. You're looking for love from pint-sized people when you're a gallon person.
Well, yeah. Some people may disagree with me. She said, but it gets under my skin when I see women kneeling down to propose to a man. But the words that she was using, bitch, it reminded me of you. Or whatever. And she said something, and I promise you, it was the same words. You said, like, the same exact words you said to her or whatever. And me and her looked at each other.
Like,
I said, this sounds like Craig coming. And she said, right. She said, this is happening for a reason. She said, I needed this conversation.
Yeah, it's those little whispers from the universe, from God, saying, see, here it is again. It's like, it's these, what we call coincidence. No, that wasn't coincidence. That was, but it's like, I don't think that we center ourselves enough. You know what I mean? Because we're so tuned into like what family is saying, what the job is saying, what your inner voice is saying, you know, what your friends are saying, what social media is saying. Like, you don't really take the time to really sit and think about what the voice of God is saying. There's so much noise you're trying to filter through. Even though my intention, because I believe that my intentions here are connected to something directly in the spiritual realm. So my intention was to come here to learn the language, but the universe's intention for having me here may have been for me to really disconnect from my lives, from my family, from the aftermath of the breakup, even though it was a year, but still, like, to just separate me from all of that energy, to detach me from all of that energy so that I can regenerate. And so I'm like, I'm open to whatever. It might be why you're here. But to go to that next level, it's like I have to present or find a new version of myself. And even like when I was thinking about the ball scene, I'd never been to it. Like, all of these things are running through my mind. Like, Lord, what is this that you want me to know? Like, why am I here? Because it very much feels like when I moved to California. Like, there were people who were like, well, why are you going? Like, well, what's the purpose of that? I didn't know why I was going to California, but I went because of what my inner voice was telling me, despite what because everybody else was saying, oh no, stay here. Things are going to get better. Just stay here. And if I had stayed here in Atlanta and never moved to California, I would have probably never wrote a book. I would probably never be doing any of this. Like, the roads connect in a certain and particular way and by a certain way. And so if I had changed the order of that, it doesn't mean that it wouldn't have happened, but it would have happened later in life, or it may not have happened at all. Me being connected now to this ball scene, somebody said, well, do you think you'll go to a ball again? No, I have no desire. But there is a reason that that I'm here, that God connected me with some ball king. One, I used to have all these kind of thoughts about the ball scene. Like, well, why they don't grow up? Like, why you got 50 and 60-year-old people still connected to the ball?
But it's like a culture.
It's a culture.
Yeah.
And I was always looking at it from a judgmental standpoint, like, all they care about is fashion and fighting and walking and being fit. Like, who cares about, like, what? But there's so much more to that. And I understand the origins of the ball scene, but I feel and felt like it had gotten so far away from the original intent. And the original intent was to be a place for young gay kids or queer kids whose family put them out. I wrote that in my stage play in 2002. And here I am in 2023 being connected to one of the very subcultures that I wrote about in my stage play. What is this going to do to shape me? Like, what is this all about? This trip here to France. Yeah, to come learn the language, but God, what is it really about for you? Right. For me, it was learning the language. But God, what is it? What's your reason for having me here? Yeah. You gave me that reason to come here to fulfill what you want me to do, right? You gave me the vision, oh, I want to learn French. Because otherwise, why did it happen? You had to figure out a way to get me on course to do the things that you wanted me to do. But the fact that God connected me to somebody that's really big in ballroom, and that's all I did all the first weekend I got here, was went to one ball, to another ball, to hanging out at the house with a bunch of ball kids, and really seeing and hearing them from a different perspective from what I had before.
Yeah.
But this culture over here feels a little different from the American ball culture. And the room is mixed, multicultural. There's a lot of black kids in there for sure. A lot of these people that you see are mixed race. Can't even tell what the fuck they are. They'll tell you everything that they are. They're not gonna say, oh, I'm black. They're gonna say, oh, I'm Afro, Latino, Dominican, whatever the fuck they are. But when you look at them, you don't know what the fuck they are. To me, it just doesn't feel like they've had this stigma between gay boys and trans girls. Mm-hmm. Like in the States, the gay boys just started hanging with the trans girls. Mm-hmm. And when I say just, I mean 5 to 7 years. And then you see more trans girls in media. And the media tells you, oh, it's okay to accept them. That's why a lot of people fight in these governments and shit. They're trying to fight from their visibility because it normalizes it. It no longer feels painful to your eye. Oh my God, what is that?
Yeah.
Which is no different than what white people felt when they first started seeing niggas on TV. They didn't want that shit. But over time, it normalizes. Same thing with gay couples. There are so many shows that have come out now that it's more normal. You see them in commercials now with Cheerios. The media has a direct impact on what we think. And that's why I say that to people on the live all the time, baby, you need to be careful about what you're consuming. All that love and hip hop shit on your television diet is poisoning you. And that's why you have this negative perception about relationships. That's why you keep being drawn to these relationships where they're dysfunctional or they're toxic. Because that's that toxic shit that you ingesting when you watching TV and listening to K. Michelle all day long and Keisha Cole. It's like, girl, give yourself a break. Miss Thang, get out of that car. Miss Thang, get out of that car. Stop driving that car. Mary J. Blige on every time you get to her house.